Hey everyone, it's Raygun Mk2 here, and with the exciting launch of the Shattered Veil just around the corner, I wanted to take a moment to delve into the newly introduced Raygun Mk2 variants coming in the Shattered Veil, and explore how they might play out in the map. With the anticipation building, let's unpack the details and speculate on gameplay mechanics and potential strategies that these new variants will bring to the experience. So I've already covered it on the channel already, but according to the recent blog post for Black Ops 6 Season 3, we're set to receive at least 3 different variants of the Raygun Mk2 within the Shattered Veil map. These are of course the Raygun Mk2W. This version operates like a submachine gun and has a chance to ignite enemies on impact, adding an exciting layer of offense with potential fire damage. Next up we have the Raygun Mk2, which functions as a shotgun. This variant has the unique ability to spawn a sigil that grants invulnerability to any player standing on it for a limited time, an exciting twist that enhances team dynamic. And finally the Raygun Mk2R, which is designed like a marksman rifle. This variant can spread a plague infection, infecting an area of effect damage to multiple enemies, making it a strategic asset for crowd control. Now there's an intriguing pattern here, as typically we have 4 variants in each game corresponding to obviously the 4 players inside of the game. This pattern is reminiscent of past games such as the staffs from Origins and the bows found in Der Eisendrache from Black Ops 3. Also in Black Ops 4, the Raygun Mk2 made a return in the DLC map, specifically being in Alpha Omega, where it was reintroduced with 4 new variants at the time. And to better appreciate the new variants coming in the Shattered Veil, let's take a look at the Raygun Mk2 variants that appeared in Alpha Omega, as a couple of them may be similar to what we're getting inside of the Shattered Veil. So let's start off and have a look at the Raygun Mk2V. This variant shot electricity in a beam-like manner, reminiscent of the iconic Ghostbusters proton beams. At least that's what it reminds me of, at least. It was not only visually striking, being yellow and shooting out electricity, but it was also functionally beneficial as it regenerated ammo over time, making it probably the best choice for completing the Alpha Omega Easter egg in solo, as you don't really need to worry about ammo even when double pack-a-punch. Next up we had the Raygun Mk2X, which was actually the cryogenic version of it. This variant fired in full auto mode rather than the traditional burst fire of the original Raygun Mk2. When pack-a-punched, it even transformed into a dual-wield, essentially like full auto weapon, and it was absolutely nuts in terms of ammo. The only problem with this weapon is it just runs out of ammo way too quickly. Following that was the Raygun Mk2Y. This was the brain rot variant of the gun, and this variant would actually launch a large explosive that could wipe out groups of zombies in a single shot, making it incredibly effective for crowd control, especially during the boss fight against the Avogadro in Alpha Omega. And lastly we have the Raygun Mk2Z, which acts like a shotgun, firing scattershot pellets, dealing more damage especially in higher rounds on Alpha Omega, which sounds suspiciously similar to the new Raygun Mk2P that we're getting in the Shattered Veil, just without the sigil part. In the Shattered Veil, we also know we're going to get the original Raygun Mk2, and we can pack-a-punch it to become the Porter's Raygun Mk2, which boosts its damage, also striking a red glow. However, this begs the question, where is the 4th variant? It's plausible that the 4th variant might simply refer to the standard Raygun Mk2 on its own, obviously then along with the Raygun Mk2 P, W and R, but given Treyarch's track record and attention to detail, I think that the fact that they often aim for giving all 4 players a different variant to play around with on a new map means that could we get a brand new variant that they haven't revealed in the blog post? And just like in Alpha Omega in Black Ops 4, it appears that the new Shattered Veil Raygun Mk2 variants will merge the concepts of ammo mod elements with distinct different firing types. The Raygun Mk2W functions as a fire-based SMG, while the Mk2P seems to possess the characteristics of a shotgun imbued with sigil. This could potentially be either like the light or dark elements, how like in Citadel you've got the light sword and then the Raven sword, which is like a dark element. I feel like a sigil to me, obviously it feels very magical, and obviously that we know that the sort of Dark Ether storylines, it's tying heavily into the Chaos storyline like in Citadel, for example, in the Tomb. So I feel like a dark element would work better for this. Again, maybe like Shadow Rift, for example. And we also have the Raygun Mk2R on the other hand, which is a brain rot marksman rifle, expanding on the idea and functionality diversity. And when examining possible scenarios surrounding a potential 4th variant inside of the Shattered Veil, I wonder if a hidden secret elemental variant might emerge, but given Treyarch's acknowledgement that only 3 variants exist inside of their blog, it seems extremely unlikely. Like, if you actually go and read the blog post itself, Treyarch specifically say 3 variants in writing. However, in Shattered Veil, we also know that the iconic Wunderwaffe DG2 is coming back, which obviously was in Vanguard and MW3, so in my opinion it doesn't have like the same impact as the Raygun Mk2 coming back. However, if we then look at this, so then you've got the original Raygun Mk2, the 3 variants being P, W and R, and then of course we've got the Wunderwaffe. Not only does the Wunderwaffe coming back mean another wonder weapon for a 4th player, but it's also a different element altogether, being of course electricity. So that really says to me that we're not going to get a 4th, elemental variant. I think it would be cool if they just didn't tell us that we are getting a 4th variant. However, this would be really OP, because think about it this way. If in the Shattered Veil we got the Raygun Mk2, the 3 different variants, and the Wunderwaffe all on the same map, that's 6 wonder weapons minimum, and I think that would just be really overpowered, kind of like how Revelations, it just had like way too many wonder weapons, especially in solo. It's just going to make solo high round attempts and Easter egg attempts just extremely OP and just make the map really easy. So I feel like Treyarch instead are just going to have the Raygun Mk2, the Wunderwaffe, and then the 3 different variants. Obviously the 3 different variants and the Wunderwaffe being for the 4 different players. And of course the Shattered Veil as well as the Raygun Mk2 and the Wunderwaffe will all be coming out on April 2nd. As we know, the map is coming out a day early as a part of Season 3 for Black Ops 6, and we'll finally discover how to craft these brand new Raygun Mk2 variants, as well as if we're even going to be able to craft the Wunderwaffe. Either that or they might just put it in the box. But hints from the blog post suggest that we'll be able to experiment with the additional 3 variants of the Raygun Mk2 if we fulfill a certain criteria. Because in the blog post itself, we actually get a little sort of, section that go over the 3 different variants, and there's actually a bit completely blanked out with like a marker pen saying, provided you've blank, you can experiment with the additional 3 variants of the Raygun Mk2. Now, we currently don't know what this blank means. It could mean, talking to the SAM AI, it could mean doing the Easter egg, it could mean something else. However, we're just going to have to wait and see. If I had to guess, however, for how we're going to be able to, craft and make these different 3 variants, I would really guess and, speculate that we're going to be able to use brain rot, fire elementals, as well as dark elementals. Again, if the different variant is either dark or light, we currently don't know. I reckon that you're going to have to use brain rot, fire, and a different element, maybe killing zombies, or similar to Alpha Omega, getting a brain rot zombie to dig up, something from the floor, or setting something on fire, or using dark energy to do something to activate different steps. I'm hoping that the steps aren't just like in the Tomb where we do like 2 things and then it's upgraded. I really hope there's, like in Der Eisendrache, for example, there's like 3 or 4 steps that we have to do to upgrade it. I hope it's not just like a soul box, for example, where you're filling zombie souls by killing them and then that's it. I really hope they actually give us a bit of an intricate quest that's not too difficult but not too easy. And given that the Raygun Mk2 has appeared in several iterations over the years, obviously being in Black Ops 2's DLC 3 with Buried, then reappearing in Zombie Chronicles in Black Ops 3, and then obviously coming out in Black Ops 4, and then the different variants making their debut in Alpha Omega, as well as Blackout as well, I feel like Treyarch might also add the Raygun Mk2 itself, not the variant, just the actual Raygun Mk2 itself, to the mystery box, as they did this in both Black Ops 2 and Black Black Ops 3, more so in Black Ops 2, where you could then get the Raygun Mk2 in like Mob of the Dead and Transit. Hopefully they can do that and add it again into maps like Citadel, The Tomb, Liberty Falls. It would just make those maps really easy, but I think it would be a nice little nod to sort of the history of the Raygun Mk2. Personally, I'm really excited. April 2nd couldn't come, soon enough, and as the Shattered Veil approaches, I'm getting, just really excited. Anyway everyone, thank you so much for watching the video today. Tell me in the comments below, do you think we're going to get a 4th variant that Treyarch haven't mentioned yet for the Raygun Mk2, or do you think it's just going to be the Raygun, the Mk2, the Wunderwaffe, as well as the 3 variants on the map? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know, are you excited for the Raygun Mk2 coming, as well as some hopefully new variants, as obviously the shotgun variant sounds very similar, as well as maybe the SMG one being sort of, like a full auto Raygun Mk2. Again, it sounds very similar, but hopefully these new variants will be different enough to differentiate themselves from those that we saw in Alpha Omega. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching the video today. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.